Welcome to New Life Apologetics. It's glad. It's so good to have everyone back again this week for session 3 of the Judge Not series. Stephen, thanks for joining us. So, recap. Judge Not. We explained the full context of Jesus' words in Matthew 7, 1 through 5. We also pointed out the hypocrisy of when somebody is getting after you about judging, they are also judging you. And then we went to Psalm 51, 12 through 13, where David cried out to God, asking for his salvation, the joy of his salvation to be restored, and to know that when he is right with God, he also has the ability to tell others how to become right with God, which requires making a judgment. And this week we are going to go to the Old Testament again and find out I like that it says this is what the Lord requires of you. This is what is essential for believers to speak to others or to live rightly with God. And I'll let Tanner read that again, and we will expand on that.
All right, coming out of Micah 6:8, it says, "He has shown you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." Okay?
So we see there that this is what the Lord requires of you, and to do justly. Well, that word justly, it means to do right, to do what is right. And to seek justice is another translation, and to love mercy. Well, and to walk humbly with your God. There's obvious arrogant people, not that you should judge them in that case, but it's obvious that they're not walking humbly with God, and maybe we need to know that that's right in our own lives, that we are not being arrogant in our interaction with others, but that we should be humble before God. So this is another form of judging others and saying, we want justice to be done, and yet we also want to love the mercy of God. In that humility gives us the ability, not just humility, but walking humbly with God. Being humble before God gives us the ability to do both, to seek justice and to love mercy. And so an interesting thing to note, that Jesus was an expert, obviously, he's God. He knew the Old Testament, and the Old Testament is about him. And that's another thought. And this isn't the topic for today, right now, but we can't, and I think we mentioned it in the intro video, but we can't separate the Old Testament from the New Testament. They aren't two separate stories. The New Testament is a continuation of the Old Testament story. The Old Testament is a prelude to Jesus. So both belong together. Now, Jesus, in saying what is the greatest commandment, he was challenged by a Pharisee, "Teacher, what is the greatest commandment of the law?" And he answered, "To love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second is like it, to love your neighbor as yourself." Okay? If you look at Micah 6:8, seek justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. Those are 3 laws almost, right? Mm-hmm. But Jesus wrapped that up. To seek justice has to do with your fellow man, right? Yep. To love mercy is loving the mercy from God, but then also being able to extend mercy to others and walk humbly with your God. So basically, Jesus giving the greatest commandment is an answer to the 3 laws that were in Micah 6:8.
Right, as well as the 10 original laws, the 10 commandments.
Yep, and that might be a great video for another time, but the 10 commandments can be wrapped up in Jesus' greatest commandment. So this week, don't forget to pray for justice in this nation, whatever nation you're in. Pray for justice to be done. Don't forget to pray for mercy for those who are requiring mercy. And if you need to find more humility in your life, I know I do all the time, pray that you will walk humbly with God. Pray that we will all, and pray for us here, please, that this ministry, so to speak, that will continue to be a godly one, that we can serve others, care for others, teach others, help others.
If you guys like what you see, don't ever hesitate to hit that like button on the bottom there. Also hit that little bell icon on the bottom there to get more content for next week. Right in my hand here, I have the subscribe button. Smack that too. We really enjoy the support. So you guys have yourselves a wonderful week.